likes of Brittany Force on the way. Leah's on the way with her hot fueler, and there is Steve Torrence, the current points leader and dominator in the category. We'll be back with more from Seattle after this. Dominant at the last seven starts at this race and has never actually passed the second round. So it's pretty interesting. Only 2 career round wins in her 7 starts. Now her opponent is a man named Ron Smith. You may not be familiar with Ron Smith, even if you're a pretty hardcore drag racing fan. He runs 1 race a year, this one, and he runs it to Top Fuel. It's his 17th year in a row running here at the Northwest Nationals. And Tony, this would be the fish that ate the whale if he's able to pull this one off.
Yeah, no joke about that. And Brittany Force, she ran that whopping 335-mile-an-hour speed 1 week ago in the first round, but she had to do it because of her opponent. That's not the case. Look for them to race smart, be a little conservative just to guarantee that they get the win over Ron.
Ron Smith did not make a full run under power during qualifying. We'll find out if he's got one in the tank right now. And this one is all Brittany Force down the racetrack. 3.725 seconds, 328.78 miles per hour. And Ron Smith made a clean run, 4.29 seconds at 274. His streak of nearly 20 years competing at this event is an admirable one, but he is not advancing out of the first round.
Yeah, not real conservative on the racetrack. That was a little more impressive run than we expected because they should beat Ron Smith because of their qualifying position, because of the caliber of this team. But 372, awful impressive, 328-mile-an-hour speed. But she was a little conservative on the starting line. Once she gets to that second round, she's going to have to get a lot more aggressive. I'm sure she's going to be well aware of that when she looks at her time slip.
Wasn't just a round win, but it was also career best numbers. Lane choice is Brittany Force. Brittany, you got the win light. You had a 126 at the tree. What's going on?
There's a lot going on up there. Right now, we got that win, and that's what's most important. That win goes out to my crew guy, Justin Grote. We're hoping he'll be back up here with us second round. This Advanced Auto Parts team, we've had a crazy weekend, but a win would help everything right now. Thanks.
Interesting words there from Brittany as we look at Steve Torrence, who is waiting patiently at the ready line. Will be the next pair down the racetrack. But before we get to that, let's take a look at this.
Top Fuel driver Steve Torrence entered Sonoma with 9 straight final appearances and 8 wins.
A great side-by-side run, but it's Torrence by a car length at the stripe.
Palmer's car goes silent and Steve-O wins again.
They both smoke the tires, they both pedal their race cars, and Steve Torrence with his 35th race win. Amazing. It is his 8th win this season.
After a win in Denver, he saw a sweep of the 3-race Western Swing, but a familiar foe proved a worthy opponent in the semifinals.
As we get to the finish line stripe, Billy Torrance is the man who will stop Steve Torrance's final round streak.
In the other semifinal, Clay Millican's realliance with crew chief Mike Glover has paid dividends.
Antron Brown's car trailing raw fuel, and it's Clay Millican. He is now in his 5th final round in 15 races of 2019.
He reached the final round to face off against Billy Torrance.
Millican's out first. As they get to the finish line, it is going to be Billy Torrance. And Billy continues the winning family tradition that his son has upheld so well this year.
Now, the Capco boys look for a family sweep of the Western Swing in Seattle.
So that's how it's looked over the last several weeks. It's really,
They told me that a lot of teams misread the conditions right here. They are underpowered instead of being up-to-powered. The 8-mile speeds will tell that.
we'll watch those 8-mile speeds as Steve Chrisman's car is slow out of the starting blocks, and that is Doomsday Racing Steve Torrence. 3.770 seconds, and elapsed time and a speed of 324.83 miles per hour. Steve Chrisman, 4.31 seconds, only 206. Chrisman, a legacy family of sport drag racing, eliminated in round 1. Steve Torrence does what he does. It will be Leah and Austin Prock when we come back from break as we continue round 1 elimination. And Top Fuel here in Seattle, 2 drivers who need round wins. 2 drivers who can both get off the starting line. Stay with us. So let's take a peek here at our Top Fuel Eliminations ladder presented by Lucas Oil. And in the Top Fuel Eliminator category, we see that Mike Salinas is the #1 qualifier. And we see some of these get back with more Top Fuel. The Montana Brands Top Fuel Dragster, driven by Austin Prock, will be facing off against Leah and her team, including crew chief Todd Okuhara. Let's take a look at our UTI.edu power rankings this week, and as we take a look at the numbers inside the numbers of drag racing, we can see that the success rate of these 2 drivers is different. Leah's car gets successfully down the racetrack about 69% of the time. Austin's car about 60% of the time. Reaction time, though, favors Austin with an 060 average in the class, making him second, and an 079 average reaction time for Leah, which puts her 13th. Which one of these numbers do you put your money on?
Well, I got to go with the performance because Leah at times can be good. I do believe that she has a tendency to overthink, overcomplicate things. You pre-stage the car, you stage it, you wait for your opponent to do the same thing. As soon as that yellow light goes, you go. That's what you don't wait for the green. You wait for the green. You've been left in the dust. So she has to rely on her car and what it's been doing this weekend. And as much as drivers say, we don't really like to think about the other guy in the lane.
She's thinking.
This is a good time to just phase that out. And if you have the mental fortitude, you can do that.
Austin Prock, 200 better on the starting line, and at the finish line stripe, it is Austin Prock. 3.761 beats a 3.762. A margin of victory of just 0.02 of a second for Austin Prock. The reaction times tell much of the story of their separation.
Yeah, that's everything. That makes the difference between winning and losing. And an 086 in a Top Fuel car in the first round against that opponent, to be honest with you, to be quite frank with you, it's not acceptable for the caliber of this team. I'm pretty sure they expect more. I'm sure they're going to be encouraging to her and say, hey, you did a good job. But to me, that's how you lose races. You're not sharp on the line, and it'll cost you.
Austin Prock continues to deliver for his team. Mike Pritchett puts one in his back pocket. And we talked about that point separation, which is only a handful of points between Austin Prock and Terry McMillan. And Austin Prock has now leapt ahead of Terry McMillan in our countdown points as the vice continues to close and the pressure continues to mount. About 1/3 of the length of the Top Fuel dragster at the finish line for Austin Prock. So now that Leah Pritchett has been eliminated, Antron, that they have not done since this race 1 year ago. Brown's not a bad guy to have on your side, though. He has won it 3 times in a row. Antron Brown will have a tough opponent in Richie, Crampton, a car that has been showing signs of life as of late. And as they back up to the starting line, here's some more words from our friends at Mellow Yellow. Here is the capsule in which Antron Brown sits. Antron, much the same story as we've talked about with Austin Prock. He is a great lever. The car has not really held up its end of the bargain for him many times this year in terms of performance. Richie Crampton's car can be punchy. It can be very fast at times, but it has not had the consistency that he has needed. Round 2 losses in every start he has made here in Seattle. Crampton smokes the tires, and Antron Brown is 1 round win closer, making it 4 in a row here in Seattle. 3.798 seconds, 321 miles per hour for Antron Brown. And with 1 pair of Top Fuel cars remaining, Shawn Reed is low ET of the round so far here in Seattle.
Well, he had the coolest conditions. As the state progresses, the track temperature will continue to increase. You also have to factor in who his opponent was. They had to step on it. Some of these cars really have the luxury of not having to be that aggressive.
So Antron will make the corner at the top end, and we will head to Jamie at the top end.
For just the 6th time this season, Austin.
When he grew up and continues to live about 10 miles from Pacific Raceways. This is quite literally his home racetrack. You also heard Brittany Force's top-end interview after the first round. Her words a little bit cryptic in terms of her talking about a lot that was going on the starting line. What we didn't know at that moment was the fact that one of her crew members had been injured, and as we told you, he has been taken to get looked at, but is not threatening injuries. Women in power in NHRA history. It is a sport that has embraced female competition for more than half a century. 9 total female champions, 9 different female winners in Top Fuel. The first Top Fuel win for a woman coming for Shirley Muldowney in the 1976 Columbus race, and the most female victories in NHRA. Going on Angel Sampeg with 42 in the Pro Stock Motorcycle division. Brittany Force, the 2017 world champion in Top Fuel, has been progressing along this season with David Grubnick. We have seen incredible things from this car. 335-mile-an-hour run in Sonoma, just one of them. But we've also seen the team scuffle and struggle over different periods as David Grubnick has adapted his tune-up to the John Force Racing parts. For Shawn Reed, his 4th race of the season. He has raced for several seasons on a limited basis, and this is a very fast Top Fuel car. Do not underestimate the man in the Hughes Oilfield machine. Reed's out first, and Reed gets to the finish line first. 3.757 seconds, 323.27 miles an hour. And don't go anywhere if you're a Washington State Top Fuel fan, because your boys going to the semifinals. Brittany Force, 3.772 seconds. A good run, but Shawn Reed is swinging a big bat today.
Yeah, he's got a good car, and that car is consistent, but it's quick. Neither of them were very good off the starting line, but it really didn't matter. Both cars were pretty close to even on the racetrack. In every increment, it was Shawn Reed the quicker car, but because Brittany Force didn't take advantage of Shawn Reed's slow reaction time, this went down to the finish line by about a wheel.
And he is racing with no comparative pressure on his shoulders. Brittany Force wants to contend for the championship. She wants to have a car that will be at that level when the countdown begins. For Shawn Reed, it's just about coming out here and doing his job, and he is loving life right now. The next pair of cars on the starting line fired up. This is Clay Millican, and he will bring us this week's Mickey Thompson Behind the Visor. Point in the world of drag racing that when we talk about a Top Fuel and a Nitro Funny car, we have the same engines, we have the same kind of mechanical combination powering the cars, but the physics behind making both of them work completely different. As Bruno just said, something that works in one place is a complete failure in another. A gunfight at the the starting line as we go to the top end, and it will be Steve Torrence. 3.785 seconds, 325 miles an hour, and the wagging tail of Antron Brown's top fuel car indicating tire spin down the racetrack.
I've thought a lot about Steve Torrence lately on a professional level, and you peel the onion, and there have been some health issues in his history, that there has been suffering in terms of competitively, and how heartbreaking it was for him to lose the championship in the manner that he did. Things turned around. You're either born with the talent or you acquire that talent. Steve Torrence has somehow managed to turn the tables on one of the best drivers in this class, and that's Antron Brown.
Man alive, Steve Torrence. Oh. The addition of Don Pruett was the shot of B12 vitamin in the backside of John Force this season. We have seen him more passionate, more energetic, and more fired up than ever. And we put a lot of that on Don the Snake Pruett's presence in that team's organization now. And then there's this man, Steve Torrence. There's a road you can drive if you drive between Seattle and Sonoma. You can drive in Humboldt, California through the redwood trees. It's called the Avenue of Giants. This weekend in Seattle, Washington, the Avenue of Giants includes this man here, Steve Torrence, who has warded over the top fuel category in ways that we have not seen in many years in NHRA drag racing, but is Austin Prock the man to beat him in Seattle. Here we go. To horrendous reaction times, Steve Torrence smokes the tires, and it is perfect symmetry. Austin Prock collects his first career victory as John Force collects the 150th Mike Green swarm by Austin Prock's mother. John Force hobbling over the wall into the starting line. The reaction times were not good on either side of the racetrack. Steve Torrence smokes the tires early. Austin Prock gathers the car up and goes to the finish line running 3.87 seconds. And John Force is going to attempt to climb a fence successfully. I don't know where he's going, but he's trying to get somewhere. Steve Torrence, 4.984 seconds after smoking the tires. As Austin Prock, Tony, this is a storybook end. Look, nobody saw that coming, how bad they were off the starting line. Nobody's going to remember that. It's a random starting line. But let's go down to Bruno at the finish line. Starting line.
Down here on the starting line with Jimmy Prock and Jill Prock. Your son just did something that, well, a lot of people dream of. That is winning top fuel. What does this feel like, Mom?
Oh, this is a big dream come true for me, let me tell you. There's nothing to compare it to. Nothing in my life right now.
What do you say to your son right now, Jimmy?
I'm proud of him. You know, he did a good job all day. He looked like maybe he was a little late there. He might not be happy with that, but hey, we got the win, and you know, I'm really proud of him. He's worked hard to get here, and he's dedicated to what he does, and he reaped some rewards for that today. Good job, man.
Congratulations, guys.
John Force has scaled the grandstands, and Austin Prock has scaled his top fuel dragster. Unbelievable. And as a wise man once said, this ain't a beauty contest. The reaction times matter nothing. All that matters is the win light, Tony.
Yeah, right off the starting line. You know, it's a random Christmas tree. Some of the drivers want it reconfigured, but I like it because it doesn't allow the driver to anticipate the light. And sometimes the starter, whenever he activates that tree, it's going to count down whenever. Sometimes drivers have to wait there a little bit. This, in particular, was quick. Now, Steve Torrence reacted quicker, but watch his car. He loses traction early in the run, tries to get in and out of the throttle. He had a big lead, but that was swallowed up by the car that was able to maintain the traction. That was Austin.
In 1995, a man named Ron Capps got his first career top fuel win here. Our first time winner with Jamie Howe.
For Austin Prock, you grew up around the sport, Austin. How does this moment compare to what you imagined?
Oh, I can't even believe it right now. I'm in total shock. I look like an idiot up there. Torrance double-vaulted me, and you know, I was just rookie move, but we got her done. When it's your day, it's your day. God bless. I went to church this morning, and they said it's going to be a blessed day, and it was. Oh, unbelievable.
Congratulations.
John Force is literally in the grandstands here at Pacific Raceways and has been swarmed by the NHRA fans, and his hugs and his handshakes and his high fives. And somebody has the gold cap that he was awarded at the top end. He heaved it into the crowd. And let me tell you something, in terms of drag racing collective memorabilia,